Jim, you speak briefly of that the scene that kind of starts out early on for the freshmen, and John Boehner is your House leader at the time, and he's there, and it just read to me like the stereotypical back room. He's smoking a cigarette, and he's pausing as they hand things out. I felt like I'm watching some sort of evil political scene in a movie, and the Harry Potter sorting hat just telling you, okay, you go to Veteran Affairs. No, you can't go to this. You can't go to that. You have got to tell the story for yourself, and then kind of recant a little of what you've already spoken about the betrayal element of where you thought you wanted to go, where you ended up landing, and then you get the phone call that even changes that again, because it is really interesting, folks. You want to read it for yourself, but I'll let Jim tell you his story verbally.
Sure. Well, it shows you how Washington works. I mean, when I got to Washington, I was a business guy. You would think that you'd put business people on Ways and Means, the tax writing committee. You would think you would put veterans on the Veterans Committee. You would think you would put farmers on the Agricultural Committee. It's the way the world would work back home. You know, if you're in business, if you've got an accounting degree, you go in the accounting. If you got an accounting background, you go in the accounting department. If you got a sales background, you go in the sales. But in Washington, that's clearly not the way it works. You get positions based on who you know, how much you donate, and you get on committees in many cases because of that, how tough your races are. But that really was an issue for me, because when I was asked what committees I wanted to be on, of course, my first committee assignment that I wanted to be on was Ways and Means. And I still remember hearing, from John Boehner that, freshmen don't get on Ways and Means. Well, clearly freshmen did get on Ways and Means that year. One freshman who donated some money to the party ended up on Ways and Means. So that was disappointing. But my second choice, of course, was the Financial Services Committee, which was banking, and another committee that I thought I could really help in because of my background and experience. And as we sat around the table, I talk about this in the book, Speaker Boehner at the time invited all of the Ohio members around the table to ask what committees they wanted to be on. And when he came to one of my colleagues, I had to chuckle because that colleague said, I wanted to be on Energy and Commerce. And John Boehner said, no, you're going to be on Veterans. And he goes, no, I want to be on Energy and Commerce. And John Boehner said, no, you're going to be on Veterans. He came to me and he said, what do you want to be? I said, Financial Services. He said, okay. And then he moved on, and he was talking to other members as to where they wanted to be. So the assumption was that I was going to get on Financial Services. And what I talked about in the book was, and it was the first betrayal that I found, was that when it came to putting individuals on committees, that happened over a Thursday night, Friday, while we had left Washington. And that's when I got the phone call back from LaTourette at the time, Congressman LaTourette, who said to me, well, I told you about betrayal. You were betrayed by the Speaker. And I kind of chuckled. I said, what are you talking about? He goes, well, you're not on Financial Services, you're on Agriculture. And I still remember that, thinking, what? I mean, I had very limited background in agriculture. Why would I be put on the Agriculture Committee was just shocking to me with no experience. But what I learned was it was a deal that was brokered to move somebody else around. So I was the one who was shortchanged by the Speaker of the House at the time. And what I will give him credit for is as soon as I hung up the phone from at the time, Congressman LaTourette, because I really wanted to talk to the Speaker at that time. That was the first time that I felt that I'd been betrayed. You look somebody in the eyes and say, nope, this is where you're going to be, and then all of a sudden you end up somewhere else. I will give John Boehner credit. It wasn't more than 20 minutes after I hung up the phone with Congressman LaTourette that my phone rang, and it was the Speaker of the House, and John Boehner telling me to just relax. I've probably heard by now that I was not put on the Financial Services Committee, but, he was going to work on things and try and fix the issue, but he had to do it. He had to, as Congressman LaTourette said, he had to throw me under the bus to make something work. But in the end, he said, give me some time. I'll get you on financial services. And ultimately, I did get on financial services, to Speaker Boehner's credit. But it was just interesting how that all occurred.
Interesting is not the word I use, Jim, but it's okay. I appreciate the approach. The book plays this out. It spells it out in detail, and you can see and you can feel Jim's emotional roller coaster and his frustration. It is really shocking. Most Americans definitely don't know that's how it works, and I thought it was great to have that. And folks, if you have a copy of our book, make sure you check it out, The GOP's Lost Decade by Jim Renacci.